Good morning and welcome to Chris G Photography. I would love to say welcome back to Chris G Photography, but let's face it, none of you know who I am, so I would actually like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Do me a favor and like, view, and subscribe. I know there's a million photography channels out there about photography, but help me make mine the 1,000,000th. So anyway, this morning I'm coming to you from Death Valley, and this is a photography YouTube channel, but today's video is not about photography. Today is a Friday, and as of last Friday, I no longer have a steady 9-to-5 job. A few months ago, back in August, it is now the end of October, back in August, I thought I had a stroke. And it turns out I didn't have a stroke. I'm not 100% convinced, but the doctor is telling me I had what is called a vestibular migraine. Again, I'm not completely 100% convinced, but according to the doctor, that's what happened. And so what I've decided to do is I've decided to take some time off because I need to get myself healthy. I need to lose a considerable amount of weight. Just had my annual checkup, and my doctor was rather cross with me, and she said basically I've got to lose weight because I am like this far from being diabetic. And so she got on me about my weight, and so I've just got to really change my mindset and get healthy. I'm about 240 pounds. According to the BMI measurement, I need to be around 180. That is 60 pounds. I have no idea where I'm going to get 60 pounds of weight from. I don't consider myself overweight, but I guess I am about 60 pounds overweight. So yes, and I agree, I do need to lose some weight. I really am not very fond of this thing right here. So I would love to get rid of this and a little of that as well. But I need to change my mindset, and I need to become healthier. The number one reason is really not just health, but it's I don't want my lack of health or my poor health to interfere with what I love doing. My wife and I are empty nesters. I'm not even 50 yet, and both of our kids are out of the house, and we are enjoying traveling and everything else. And not only that, but I want to continue to grow my YouTube channel about photography and take photos. When I decided to quit my job, and last week was I don't know if I said that, but last Friday, today's Friday, last Friday was my last day, is when I decided to leave my job, it was more about changing my mindset and becoming healthy. But when I did leave my job, I was actually asked a question by my boss, and he said, and I told everybody at work that I was going to take some time off, get healthy, and then pursue other interests. And my boss asked me, "What is your other interest?" And I said photography, and that I've put off my photography career for a very long time, and I didn't want to keep putting it off. And after that conversation, it dawned on me. It's like, well, how are you going to do that? And the conclusion that I came up with is not only do I need to work on my mentality as far as getting healthy, I've got to change everything the way I do things. In other words, I cannot think anymore of a salad as it's something that came with the meal. I must think of the salad now as the meal. That when I eat, I have to watch my portions and everything else. All of these things require a certain mindset. And it also occurred to me after the conversation with my boss that I need to change my mindset about photography. I do not have the mindset of a professional photographer. I do not have the mindset of a full-time photographer. I have the mindset of, hey, I want to be a photographer someday. I want to do this in the future. I need to stop looking at photography as what I want to do. I need to start looking at photography as what I actually do, how I make my income. So just like I need to consider now going forward that a salad needs to be not part of the meal, but the meal, I need to change my mindset of photography as not as the job I want to have, but as the job that I actually do have. No longer think of it as something I need to do, but it's something I want to do and have to do. Photography needs to become my job. I've always had a job and tried to do photography, and for many years I was in the photography industry. I either worked in a photo lab or or camera photography retail, sold cameras. And obviously that didn't make a whole lot of money. When you're a parent and you have a mortgage, that doesn't cut it. And so I did stop taking pictures for a very, very long time. Something in the neighborhood of 15 years. Got a degree, got a desk job, and really kind of forgot about photography for a few years. But now the kids are gone and Jenny, my wife, is traveling with us. Photography has come back as something forefront in my life, and now I have just as many cameras as I did before. So I need to change my thinking in every aspect of my life. I've got to change it if I want to stay healthy, and I've got to change it if I want to make photography my career. And maybe you're watching this, and maybe you're searching through YouTube looking for videos on how to become a professional photographer. And quite honestly, it may not be you. It may not be your work. It may not be your quality of your images. It may not be your YouTube channel. It may be your mindset. That you're like me, that photography is something that's in the future or over there or down the road or something you want to get to, but it's not something you actually do. For example, I have a website somewhere, but I haven't touched it in well over a year. Why? Because my bills were paid. I was comfortable, and I let myself become too comfortable. So at the end of the day, if I didn't want to go work on the website, I didn't have to. My bills were paid. My wife was going to come home. We could go grab a burrito. We could go hang out. We could have fun, like we always do, like empty nesters should be doing. And I got complacent. To use another word, maybe a little bit lazy. But nonetheless, I did not look at photography as I should have. And now, during these next couple of months, I need to focus on photography like it's my job, not my hobby, or not something I want to do tomorrow or the next week or next month or next year. It's got to be something that I want to do now. I am under no illusions that I am not going to have to get another job. In fact, I have to kind of talk my wife into letting me do this. We had to rearrange some finances, and we have enough money to do it. I had to make some sacrifices, but I think it would be very unfair for me to say, hey, Jenny, I'm going to become a professional photographer, and until I do, it's your job to pay the bills, pay the mortgage, pay the car payment, and everything else, buy the groceries, while I'm out in Death Valley taking pictures. That's your responsibility now. I think that would be unfair and irresponsible. So probably in a couple of months, this is the end of October, so probably around the first of the year, I will need to get another job. But part of the mindset change is I am not going to get a full-time job. I'm going to get a part-time job. After last Friday, I was working 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, typical work week. So when I do have to get another job, it's going to be not 5 days a week, it's going to be 3 days a week. I don't want to work, sorry, pulling through a little area, there's a couple of people across the road, didn't want to hit them. I want to work not 40 hours a week, but 20 to 30 hours a week. I want to leave 4 days a week open to work on photography, website, YouTube content, and actually taking pictures. That's what I want to do. That's going, and to me, that helps me. It's kind of a good compromise, because not only will I be able to work on the photography, but I'll also be able to pay my bills as well, and not just leave my wife high and dry for that. So that's a good compromise. But nonetheless, even when I do find a part-time job in a couple of months, I need to keep the same mentality that, hey, I am a photographer and I need to work on that, and my mindset and my focus needs to be on leaving the part-time job because my full-time job is photography. So are you in the same boat? I mean, really what I want this YouTube channel to be about is not about, just looking at my photos and promoting me, but to ask the hard questions and to promote thought in the people watching these videos. So if you're watching this video thinking, man, how do I become a professional photographer? How do you? What do you have to do? What do you have to change? What do you need to sacrifice? What do you need to rearrange? What do you have to do to get it done? And I've already come up with what I have to do. So now I think you have to ask yourself, what do you need to do? Is something I'm saying striking a chord? Mesquite Dunes are right out there. It's pretty cool. I was up here photographing first thing this morning. It's all right. But what do you have to do to make this happen? Is it a matter of quitting a job? Is it a matter of making photography a priority? Is it a matter of saying, hey, I've got a wife, I've got a couple of kids, I got a mortgage, and right now is not the right time. So I'm going to stop, push pause, and maybe revisit this question in 10 years. That might be a tough question to ask yourself, but actually I did it, and I was able to get back into it. That's a topic for a different, because when I was taking pictures, it was with film, and I came back to a digital world. So that kind of, that's kind of screwed me up a little bit. But maybe that's the choice you're going to have to make, is not doing photography right now and putting it on the back burner until you can at a later date. That's just the simple reality of the situation sometimes. Sometimes we cannot do what we want to do because what we have to do, and sometimes what we have to do is more important. When my kids were growing up and they wanted to go outside and do something, I always told them, is your homework done? And they grumbled about it. It's like, guys, the reality of life is you do what you have to do before you do what you want to do. And now I'm beyond a lot of cases the have to do in my life. I am in a position where I want to do this and I want to make this my job, but it's up to me to get it done. I cannot blame anybody else but myself. Before, when I did photography, I failed. I worked at it as hard as I could, being a father of two, a husband, and having a job, but I failed. This time around, if I fail, and I'm not going to sit here and BS anybody and say that I'm not going to fail this time. If I fail this time, I want to know that I gave it my all. I gave it 100%. I really tried this time. I had a website, I had a following, I had YouTube and everything else, and it just didn't work out. I want to go to bed at night and wake up the next morning to go do a day job knowing that I gave it 100% of my effort. Because honestly, I cannot say that about last time. I did not give it my all. Did I do what I had to do? Yes, but I did not give it my all. And this time, I need to give it my all because I cannot afford, I'm not independently wealthy. Photography cannot be just a hobby for me. It needs to be a profession that pays for itself. So that's where I'm at. And do me a favor, ask yourself the same question. If you want to be a photographer, if you want to be anything, I don't care what it is, ask yourself, why am I not doing it? Reflect. Search your soul, search your heart, and figure out why. And maybe it's a good reason. Or maybe it's just like me, where it's just, you got to be more disciplined and make photography kind of like the salad. Not part of the meal, but actually the meal itself. That's where I'm at in my life, and that's what I'm doing. Hey, passed up by a couple of old-time choppers, which is kind of cool, in Death Valley. They got gas. Anyway, like I said at the beginning of the video, do me a favor, like, view, and subscribe. The point of my channel is not to show you just beautiful photos or talk about taking beautiful photos, but to talk about life in general. Talk about what it takes, what it means, and maybe get you to think about your own career and place in photography or whatever you like to do. So if you're not a photographer, you can take the word photography and replace it with whatever you do. So for now, my name is Chris. Like, view, subscribe. I'm going to go drive through Death Valley some more, back to my hotel, relax for a little bit, and probably make a new video that I'll show after I post this one. So thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the future.